I've worked with hundreds of really smart engineers, and this is the trait that separates the good and the great. Hey there, my name is Khan. I'm a former instructor at Hack Reactor and a former software engineer at companies like Sony and Google. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about one trait that effective engineers have. I'll also be uncovering 2 ways to embody this quality as a beginner, so you know how to tackle problems that you've never solved before and can level up quickly. Let's dive in. More recently, I've been thinking about what it means to be a great engineer, and I've worked with some of the brightest engineers at several different companies. There was this one thing that the best of them did. So first of all, generally speaking, they seemed to understand things very deeply. They were very technical, but they could sacrifice their understanding to ship features. They didn't need to understand everything. So that got me thinking, how did they pick and choose? And this question led me to this answer. Effective engineers are just effective people, and effective people identify and commit to high leverage activities for their goal. The word leverage represents the difference between the effort you put in and the results that you get. So let's explore what it means to be an effective beginner who's learning how to code. When you're learning to code, you're actually tackling 2 different problems at once. Number 1 is the problem of consistency. You need to be consistently coding to get better. Number 2 is the problem of using that time that you code effectively. There are effective and ineffective ways to learn how to code. I'll dive into each one. The high leverage activity for becoming consistent is designing your environment correctly. So you want to develop a consistent sleep and wake schedule. You want to define your most focused hours. You want to choose a regular time to study. You want to know the right amount of time to study. You want to cut out your distractions. You want to create an accountability system that keeps you in check. And then you want to use body doubling when possible. So like going to a cafe or going to like a McDonald's to help keep you accountable and to keep you on task. Environment design is the 20% that produces 80% of the results when it comes to being consistent. This is universal advice for learning any skill or developing any habit. It's all about consistency. Okay, number 2 is going to be about how to spend your coding time wisely. The highest leverage activity to do as a coder is to struggle with a problem that you've never solved before. That means seeking out opportunities that challenge you to learn new things. Because when you struggle with a new problem, you're working the muscle of problem solving. And with that muscle comes increased capacity for problem solving for life. So there's this compounding effect. The more you solve problems, the better you get at problem solving, and the easier problem solving becomes. What it actually looks like is that you're able to tackle more advanced problems. As you continue this cycle of problem solving, you end up getting better and better at problem solving itself. And this is why, like, when you're like a year in, you look back and the problems that you used to get stuck on seem really trivial and really easy. This is because your problem solving ability has gotten much better over time as you solved more problems. An experienced programmer will be able to identify problems and list out solutions really quickly. And this is not because they have solutions memorized, but it's because they understand how problem contexts arises. They've galvanized the lessons learned by all the failed attempts. It's the unwritten ancillary stuff that counts. This is the exact reason why your second programming language is much easier to learn than your first programming language. This is because when you learn a language for the first time, you aren't just learning the specific language, you're actually learning universal programming constructs at the same time. This is what makes learning programming overwhelming at first. But once you establish the constructs, they don't disappear when you transition languages, and that's why you find the second language to be much easier than the first. So what is the best course of action for learners who are just starting out? Keep in mind that programming just boils down to problem solving. So our problem solving ability is the meta skill required in order for us to overcome obstacles when creating software. What this means is that your learning time is best spent problem solving. You don't want to be watching YouTube videos or like egghead courses on the latest technologies. There's a time and place for that stuff. But when you're actually coding for the sake of learning, you want to be consistently facing novel and semi-novel challenges that you haven't faced before. And then you want to work through how to solve it. And if you get stuck, you want to try a lot of different solutions. And if you can't solve this problem right now, you want to go solve other problems that relate to this problem. And then after solving those, you can come back to this problem. Finally, once you solve the original problem, you want to assess your solution. Bonus step here is if you can compare your solution to another solution of someone else. And that's it. The more we repeat this process, the better our problem solving skills. Let me be clear, I'm not saying that you should always optimize for learning. You want to be effective, which means picking the right activity for the goal. In fact, personal growth and learning is never the primary goal when you're developing products. As a professional, you often have to sacrifice your desire for learning and growth by doing things that you already know how to do and shipping features. This is what being a professional most often feels like. And that's okay, there are different goals, so we have different actions. In any case, effective engineers pick the right activity that gets them the best bang for their buck. Good news is that if you're just getting started, you can begin embodying this trait right now. As a learner, you want to focus on environment design to be consistent, and you want to focus on solving new problems so you continue the process of problem solving. Okay, that's it for this video. If you're interested in learning more about effective coding, then check out my newsletter, which is linked down below in the description. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.